Are you a type 1 diabetic that's sick of hearing from experts that aren't type 1 diabetics? How many times have you been told you can live a normal life as a type 1 diabetic? And you know that you can't. And how do I know you can't? Because I'm a type 1 diabetic too. Unlike a lot of people, I was diagnosed at 33 as a type 1 diabetic, went 2.5 years untreated, got very, very, very ill, lost a lot of weight, was finally diagnosed when I went in for surgery for something else. So I sort of know what it feels like to not be a diabetic and to be a diabetic. And it gives me a different perspective than those people that were born, or were diagnosed very young, as most type 1 diabetics are. So I'm 52 now. I'm Jeff, Soul Survivor Life Coaching. And I help, one of the things I do is help type 1 diabetics get through the mental process that comes with type 1 diabetes. And if you're anything like me, you often see type 2 diabetic treatments improving and developing and growing and possible cures and all that sort of stuff. And you very rarely see type 1 stuff. And it can become very disheartening. You go and see a line of diabetic educators, dietitians, endocrinologists, all that sort of stuff, who tell you how bad you are at doing everything and how much care you need to take of yourself. And if you're like me, you know you have to take care of yourself. It's pretty simple. And there is information out there on how to take care of yourself. But the one thing that gets me more than anything is that you can live a normal life. And like I said, if you're a type 1 diabetic, you know, like me, you can't. You can't just be out for a drive around and stop at a baker and grab that delicious looking donut. Those sorts of things. If you want to exercise, you have to regiment your sugars and your insulin beforehand. You can't just go, you know what, I want to go for a jog now. I feel like going for a jog. You can't be out somewhere and just partake in exercise and not have insulin with you, not have your blood sugar meter, all those sorts of things. You can't do that. You can't get away with it. And sometimes, if you're like me, the mental health aspect of type 1 diabetes gets on top of you. No one I know has set out to get diabetes. No one I know, particularly those diagnosed as children, have felt that they deserved it. I know I certainly didn't feel like I deserved it. Mine was caused through stress. But these are the things that go round in your head. And the things that I know I've struggled with is, why me? What did I do to deserve type 1 diabetes? It's an issue that strikes me deep in my heart. And I talk to everybody I know that is a diabetic, and they struggle with it too from time to time. I've just come out of a cam boot. I'm sitting here looking at my foot after over 3 months of fighting a diabetic foot ulcer, which was caused through my foot overheating back in March on a hot day when I was just outside doing stuff. I wasn't even working physically hard. My foot overheated in my shoe and gave me a blister. And that started an ulcer that's taken 3.5 months so far. And thankfully, it's nearly completely healed. But the stress and the frustration and anger that I felt through that 3.5 months really made me think I need to do this video. I need to put the word out there for other type 1 diabetics that you're not alone in your struggles. You're not alone in feeling defeated in a fight you didn't want to even fight. You didn't even ask to be in. You didn't even volunteer. It was just put on you. You weren't coerced or tricked into it. It was, here's your fight, here's your journey that's going to affect you for the rest of your life. And that's a big pill and a bitter pill to swallow sometimes. So it's really, I can't emphasize enough just to remember that you're not alone in this, and to seek out where you can support in groups, experts that are diabetics or at least live with a diabetic, so they have a better understanding of what it's like to actually live with it, and not just what the textbook tells them, not what market research tells them. because you don't know a condition properly until you have it. I've got to say, I don't care how knowledgeable you are, what level of technical expertise you have, you don't know what it's like until you live with it. Just like you wouldn't take your car to a mechanic to be fixed if you couldn't drive a car and you'd never had an experience driving a car. To be able to go to someone for help with your diabetes, whether it be physically or mentally, and have that person be living that thing exactly the same as you are, that's a game changer. It gets you around all the crap, all the fluff, all the trying to explain how your body reacts and them just looking at you like, oh no, your body can't do that. Because that's something that's happened to me too. Like I have digestive issues as a result of being untreated for so long. And the amount of times I've been told by doctors and specialists and dietitians, oh no, no, your body won't do that. The food won't react like that to it. And to be belittled in that way, to be almost mocked, like you're just a civilian. What do you know? I'm the expert. It makes you want to clam up and not go and see anybody again and just not be involved in it. I'm here to tell you there are people out there, and myself included, that offer a support and an education often into diabetes and how it affects everybody differently, both physically and mentally. But there are some of us out there that live with it. And I know others that have partners with type 1 diabetes, and that's what sent them down the road to becoming a diabetes educator or a dietitian because they wanted to understand it better. They live with it, they see it more than anybody else apart from someone that actually has it. So whether it's reaching out to me here at Soul Survivor, if you need help or support with the mental health aspect of it and developing healthy coping mechanisms around it and ways to process the frustration, the anger, the sadness, the despair, the realization of your own mortality, or whether it be with your dietitian, with your education, with your endo, all those sorts of things. Hunt them out. There are people out there with diabetes that are doing these jobs, and you will get a better understanding. Having said that, my diabetes educator does not have type 1 diabetes, and he is phenomenal. I can't recommend him enough here in Victoria, Australia. But ultimately, he still doesn't know what it's like to live with it. He can understand the concept of it. He can get the point, but until you wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning in a massive hypo and doubt your own ability to get out of bed to be able to get sugar into you, that's something you can't explain to people. You can't explain. The other thing for me is I can't explain to people how sometimes it affects me and it affects type 1 diabetics in general, that I now know that I have a condition that more than likely will shorten my lifespan over what I would have lived if I wasn't. Now, it's not to say I'm not going to live a long life, but I know it's shorter than what it could have been if I wasn't a diabetic. And that plays in my head as well. And I've developed over the last, what have we got, nearly 20 years next year, of having it and knowing what life is like without it and learning ways to cope with it and to process those thoughts and emotions around it and develop ideals and principles around processing it quicker and not letting it affect me as deeply whenever it rolls on, because it will continue to roll on for the rest of my life, as I'm sure you all understand. So if this is something you feel like you want to talk about, you want to reach out about, please don't hesitate to message. I'll put a link to an email in the comments, possibly, if it'll let me. Um, and I'd love to be able to help you understand better that there are ways to process it and move forward with it. Likewise, if you live with someone or you know someone's diabetic and you see them sometimes struggling and they might not voice it because it is a very personal illness, maybe share this to them, forward it to them, forward them a link, and so that they can get the help that they want and they need to be able to have a better quality of life. It's all about the quality of it. You've got to be able to still live. So again, thank you very much for watching to all of this point. If you can give me a like or a subscribe, it'll help get this video out, and a comment help get this video out to other people that need it, to need to see it. It'll help the algorithm share it wider. And I really appreciate it because it's something I just am absolutely passionate about. So I know that mental struggle and I want to help others develop healthy ways to get through it, to work through it. If you are a type 1 diabetic and there's anything within this mental health aspect of diabetes you'd like to learn more about it, you'd like me to cover, please comment or message, and I will be more than happy to do videos on it in the future and help spread that information from a diabetic's point of view. It's really important. I can't emphasize that enough, that I am a diabetic. I live with it. I live with insulin 4 times a day. So take that with you, share it far and wide, hit the like, hit the subscribe, drop a comment, help get this video out. It's great for just helping those people that need it and for helping the channel grow and so more people can become aware of it. Thank you so much for your time and have an amazing day.